What's up YouTube? It's Chris Mustache and I'm coming at you with another review. Let's get right in it. Today I'll be reviewing Mid-90s. Mid-90s is directed by Jonah Hill. It's about a young man named Stevie who ends up becoming friends with a group of misfit skateboarders and he becomes enveloped by their lifestyle. The best part about this film is its writing. It is superb. It is emotional, it is unabridged, it is authentic, and it is hyper realistic. And when I say it's hyper realistic, it literally feels like when you watch this movie that you are watching a documentary about a group of skateboarders rather than a narrative film. And I think this is in part due to the improv that was used in this film, as well as the writing that felt very real. The characters were able to speak over one another, just like in real life. Because whenever people have conversations, it's never clear and cut. It's not like they're saying, oh, I say this, and then you say something else. It is sometimes overlapping because we're listening to each other and we're also thinking about what we want to say. So I thought that was very well done by Jonah Hill and the entire crew and the cast as well. They were able to let the characters breathe and speak as if they were real, as if they had a life before this movie even started. Also, along with that authentic type of dialogue, there was a use of silence. And silence, I think, is an issue that a lot of filmmakers struggle with. They don't use silence enough when their characters are on screen because silence can convey more emotion sometimes than dialogue can. So we can see things in passing with just expressions, with just what they are doing to each other, how they are holding themselves in the scene, and what is happening within the scene other than just them speaking, because they don't need to explain everything. Sometimes it is enough for it to just be silent, and this silence carries over in a bunch of different scenes. We see it in the relationship between Stevie and his brother, even with the skateboarders as well, because they're not going to be talking all the time. They're going to be just enjoying the skateboarding aspect of their lives together. As far as the silence goes, all the way to the climax as well. And the climax usually in a lot of dramas is drawn out speeches. There's a lot of things happening at that point, but the climax in this film, there is a great use of silence. And when you get to that part, you'll really see what I mean. Along with the authentic dialogue, I really like that Jonah Hill let these kid actors really use the crass expressions that is very endemic to kids of that age. And I can say that because I was a young man at one point, so I know exactly what kind of conversations that kids have. It can be crass, it can be mean, it could be derogatory. They use words like pussy and also the F word, which rhymes with bag. I'm not going to say it, but it's a derogatory term used for homosexuals, and they did not stray away from it. They really kept it as authentic. They didn't worry about whether or not they were going to hurt the audience's feelings. This was just a real slice of life that they portrayed in this film. I really like the group dynamic in this skateboarding culture because there is a clear hierarchy within this group. There's someone that's the leader, which is Ray, because he is the coolest, and then we have other unique personalities like Fourth Grade, who is a quiet guy who likes filming all the time. We also have the semi-loser, who is, his nickname is Fuck It, and also, we had the current baby of the group, which was Ruben, until Stevie showed up, who ended up becoming the youngest of the group and like sort of the baby boy, the little brother of all of them. And the creation of this group dynamic was so strong and so well created that Stevie, to initiate himself into the group, had to get hurt. He had to really injure himself, because if you're at all familiar with skateboarding, it's a part of the culture is to get hurt, and him getting hurt and getting injured initiated him into the group and made him another one of the guys. Outside of the skateboarders dynamic, I also like the brothers' relationship. So Stevie, he has an older brother in this movie who's played by Hedges, and it is such a real dynamic. And I'm a younger brother. I have an older brother he's a lot older than I am, and I can say from personal experience, the way that they portrayed it was really authentic and really true to what happens between brothers, because with brothers there is this constant struggle of dominance. One brother always wants to show that he's stronger than the other, and in this movie they really portrayed that. They let them fight it out. There's always this constant tension between them because there is this sort of male dominance thought in their minds that one of them has to be better than the other, and they're constantly butting heads, and I really enjoyed that aspect. I thought that although Stevie is a young man, about 12 or 11. He's a young kid. I liked the flaw that Jonah Hill gave him. He's very self-destructive. I think that kind of trait goes across all different ages. It is not just for adults. It happens to kids too, and I think that is a really great take on human nature that Jonah Hill presented. The music in this film was well picked, well selected. We had an opening sequence that was composed by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and it's sprinkled throughout the movie, and that soundtrack was great. It was very cerebral. It had a great bed that the film could lay on top of, and we really got to hear that in a really great setting. The cinematography in this movie was great, and it was really well executed to the style of the film. So this movie is supposed to be taking place in the mid-90s, so they filmed it on 16 millimeters. So it had that VHS older style look that was really true to this era. What I didn't like was that there were certain moments where Jonah Hill's voice overrode what the characters would actually say. At one point, Stevie is really down about the fact that his home life is so terrible, and Ray, the coolest of the group, comforts him by giving him a bunch of character reveals about all the different people involved. We get sprinkles of what one of these skateboarders' lives is like at home, but the rest of them we had no idea. So it felt like it was undeserved that Ray would reveal all these convenient character traits that could relate to the story and really give us a life lesson. So that felt a little preachy. It really pulled me away from the realism of the scenes. Also, I didn't like Stevie's adaptability to the group. It felt like he was able to get into this group very quickly without any struggle. So he's supposed to be a kid around 11, 12 years old, and these older guys are in high school, they're drinking, they're doing drugs, they're smoking, and the kid, Stevie, gets really involved and really accepted very quickly. He assimilates to this whole new culture without any hitch in his step. The only person that sort of stops him is Ruben, but that's out of jealousy. So Stevie by himself was able to become one of the guys without any sort of problems. He didn't have any colloquial issues. He didn't have any adaptability problems. And even at one point, he is widely accepted by a bunch of other guys that are older than him without him even having to earn their respect just yet. Because this film was supposed to be authentic, that really pulled me out of the movie. Because a kid at that age would have a lot of struggles to adapt to that kind of situation. Overall, I really liked this movie. I thought the writing was superb, besides a few small parts, including where the writer's intentions were overhauling the characters as well as Stevie's adaptability. The music and the cinematography were artfully crafted for this movie. And most importantly, what I liked the most was that the fact that this movie was short. It's only about 80 minutes long. And that is really well done for a slice of life, coming of age movie. A lot of times, a lot of filmmakers will make these type of movies very long, very drawn out, because they want you to really get immersed in this slice of life kind of situation. But the thing is, we are all familiar with what real life is like, regardless of whether we are far removed from this type of personality, but we can tell when it's trying to be authentic, when it's trying to be real. So to make it nice and short really gives it that brevity that is needed for something that we're all so familiar with, real life, human nature, and that hyper-realistic situation. I'm going to give this film a 7 out of 10. I think everyone should watch this at some point. It really gives you a unique perspective in a young man's life, especially this era as well. And the skateboarding is great. So that really gives it everything that an authentic drama really needs. I'll see you guys next time. Comment and subscribe below. Let me know what you thought about it. Did you love it? Did you hate it? And I'll see you guys next time.